Today I'm going to bring you an article or some news from, it's about 6 days ago. It's a little bit old, but I've been a little bit busy, so haven't been able to get anything out until about now. So sorry for this being late. Now this is something that is not super easy to find. It's not in the mainstream news, so you may have not heard about it anyways. So that's why I want to bring it to you. Now this is regarding the one world religion. And the ecumenical movement led by Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar is the leader of the Al-Azhar Mosque in Egypt. So anyone who leads that, so I mean it changes like the Pope. It's a position. So the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Al-Azhar is not his name, that's just his position, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. But he is the leader of the Sunni Muslim mosque in Egypt. So the Al-Azhar mosque. But now I wanted to bring this to you because not a year and a half ago, in February of 2019, the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar and the Pope signed the document for Human Fraternity, which was to create coexistence between all world religions. Now, they all believe that we worship the same God, and that everything just needs to coexist and all this stuff. Jesus himself said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me." So we know all of these other religions are just false religions. And I myself do not stand for even denominationalism, because I think all of them have flaws, and following the traditions of man is not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to follow the Word of God. So I'm going to bring this to you. This is a week and a half ago, like I said, or 6 days ago. The Grand Imam of Al-Azhar and Pope Francis, they are at this summit in Kazakhstan, and they had all of these religious leaders. You can see them all right here. They all adopted this document of Human Fraternity, which is to promote peace and coexistence. Now you can see right here it says September 14th and 15th, 2022. So this is just recently, right? Now, this may have been posted September 19th, but it actually happened September 14th and 15th. So, but they are trying to also create a one world religion headquarters, which is going to be in Abu Dhabi. That's the headquarters of it, where they will be building where they are building a mosque, a church, and a synagogue all on one property, and they claim that it's a place for all religions to come and worship God. Now, that's just the starting one. That's the headquarters of it. They have one planned for New York, and I think in Europe, and maybe a couple other places around the world at this point. But anyways, I like how Euronews kind of covers this story, but I want to go through one more thing in this post. Notice here, this is the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions in Kazakhstan. There's that number 7 again. Now in my last video, I went through the fact that the UN is currently in its 77th UN General Assembly, and that ends on September 27th. Now, the interesting thing about this is, 7 is God's number of divine completion. And so when you take the fact that we're in the 7th Congress of the World and Traditional Religions in Kazakhstan, plus the UN is in its 77th UN General Assembly, and it ends on the Hebrew New Year, which is really interesting. Which is on September 27th is when Rosh Hashanah ends. So, I'm not saying that the rapture is going to happen this month or this year even. I think it's interesting, though, that all of these things are culminating to the end of September. And if you watch my last 2 videos, there's so many things that are culminating to the end of September or early fall this year. So, I want to bring you right here to Euronews, and they do a really good job of covering the what was going on in Kazakhstan. So I'm going to play this video. It's a little 4-minute clip, and then we'll talk more.
Ethnically diverse Kazakhstan is home to 18 religious denominations, and in September it opens its doors for a global interfaith dialogue. Its capital, Astana, hosted the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Delegates from more than 50 countries came together, urging for peace and consolidation around the world.
The efforts of world leaders, the efforts of international organizations are not enough to overcome the challenges that humanity is facing. And the voice of spiritual leaders who have great authority among the world's population called for the joint overcoming of all the challenges. This is very important.
Islam, Judaism, Christianity and Hinduism, as well as other world religions, were represented at the Congress. This year, Pope Francis, as well as the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayeb, were among the renowned guests.
The image of leaders of so many world religions sitting together around a table sends a strong message of unity in diversity to the world.
The main result is that we are sitting together, we are speaking together, and we are understanding that to find solutions for the problems in the world is not during the war, but sitting together and speaking.
One of the goals of the Congress is to reintroduce the language of reconciliation and peace to a world shattered by conflict and tragedy. It also strives to put religion in the spotlight as a tool to help diffuse confrontations.
The perfect platform to go instead of going to a world divided by blocks that are antagonistic. Civilization wants to build bridges of understanding and respect. So today, this understanding of all living together is more important than ever.
The final declaration of the Congress calls upon world leaders to abandon all aggressive and destructive rhetoric, which leads to destabilization in the world. It demands a cease from conflict and bloodshed in all corners. It says that extremism, radicalism, terrorism and all other forms of violence have nothing to do with authentic religion and must be rejected.
It should be noted with regret that some political circles use religion as a means to achieve their goals. Moreover, today we can see other religious figures who call for confrontation and war. Everyone should know and see this, and we must fight together against it.
Participants of the Congress planted trees in the new Peace and Harmony Park in the capital of Kazakhstan. This ceremony is a symbol of hope for the interfaith dialogue to grow and bring about change, to unite different communities across the globe, and to inspire people to join their efforts in the name of peace.
We talk about global peace, but I would say those steps begin at the local level. They begin in every small town where Christians and Muslims, perhaps together, they seek to feed the hungry. And we're no longer looking at our differences, but we are recognizing our common concern for those who struggle or suffer.
The participants of the Congress hope that their appeal for global dialogue, reconciliation and peace based on common values of humanity, shared by all religions, is heard across the globe.
So, anyways, you notice how they said bringing world peace. Well, we know from the Bible the only time world peace is going
seen
to
as an escalation
come is when the millennial kingdom comes, when Christ comes and sets up his kingdom on earth. So, yeah. Anyways, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But anyway, this is the Higher Committee for Human Fraternity website. Now, this is where the Abrahamic family house. This is they are the headquarters that they're building in Abu Dhabi. This is what it'll look like at night. These buildings are already built, and they are just working on finishing touches. Now, I will show you here in a second where on the Vatican news, actually I'll just show you now, on Vatican news, now this is the Pope and then the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar making the deal in February and signing the document for higher fraternity, or for human fraternity. But where this says, this article from the Vatican News says the Abrahamic family house in Abu Dhabi is to open in 2022. So everything that you'll find on this says it's about to, or that it's supposed to open in the fall of 2020, or open in 2022. It doesn't say when, but it hasn't opened yet, and construction's not done yet. I can tell you that right now. But it's very, very close, and I did a lot of research on it last night. It's a little bit hard to find info on this, but you have to dig pretty deep. But if you go here to the Abrahamic family house on the Higher Committee for Human Fraternity website, it says right here in this highlighted section, it says the Abrahamic family house will host a variety of programming and events, from daily religious services to international summits. Currently under construction, the project's anticipated completion date is in 2023 and will be one of several undertakings the higher community of human fraternity will advise upon. So they are saying that it's going to be finished in 2023. Maybe that means it'll be open in 2023, but I think it'll be finished this year. And I'll show you why I believe that here in a minute. But to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, I'm going to play this little short clip. This is basically a 3D rendering of the whole project and going through it. So I'll play this real quick, and then I'll show you a few more things on this. So it's going to show you the mosque, and then the church, and then the synagogue. So that's what it's going to look like at night. Anyways, so I wanted to show you that just so that you guys can, if you have to look up all this stuff, it's a bit of a pain. I'll leave links to all of these websites and articles in the description box below. But anyway, I wanted to show you right here where if you go to Google Earth, it'll show you where how far they were back when this image was taken. And like I said, this is really hard to find information on. I mean, there's like literally no pictures or videos of the progress. I've even emailed the architect to see like when the completion date is, and you know, if it'll be open for tours and stuff like that. But anyways, you can see that the buildings are built here. This is so there's 2 levels here. This is 2 stories of basically building across this whole thing, and you can walk underneath in these areas where these gardens are. You can walk through all of that. Now they already have, you know, trees and such planted here and here and stuff like that, and this is probably several months old, maybe even a year old. But because they only take images with satellites every probably year or so. But kind of interesting, they already had it here. They had it 20% completed in, I think it was May of 2021. But then I'm going to bring you right here to maps, because this is where I get the most current image of it. This was posted what was it, 5 days ago to Google Maps. Now notice each of these buildings has their own like obelisk, right? These little spires that kind of show what they are. So this is the spire for the Muslim mosque. It's the crescent moon of Muslim, or of the Muslim faith. And then there's the spire right here, where if you zoom in, that is the cross on it for the Christian faith. And then on the other side, it doesn't show it because it's from a bad angle, but there will be one with the Star of David on it for the synagogue. And this is a museum that they're building next to it, so that has nothing to do with the opening of the Abrahamic family house. But and then there was so you notice that there's one right here where it'll have, well, it almost looks like it has like a menorah on it rather than a Star of David, but it's kind of interesting. But this is a video that's kind of looking at and this is the museum that's being built here. And then if he'll scroll around, and you can see that's the spire for the church, and I think they're calling the church the Church of St. Francis, which is kind of interesting. But then right here it says on the wall, Abrahamic family house. So this thing's going to have a huge concrete wall all the way around it. So he doesn't pan over far enough to see the other buildings, so it's kind of a garbage video, but you know, at least it's shows you something. So we're going to go back to go through a few more articles, but so you know, this is the architect. He won the contract for the architecture in 2019, and it's Ajay Associates. So there's several architects inside of this company, and they have 3 different locations around the world. One's in Ghana, one's in New York City, and one is in like Europe somewhere. But it's actually, the architect is from Ghana. But he's like a world-renowned architect that does crazy structures all over the globe. So, but it's kind of interesting. It doesn't even show on here like when it's going to be complete. These are the people that I emailed to try and figure out like when they plan on having it completed and all that and opening it. But I just wanted to show you that's the architect. Now, I've already showed you that, but this is where this is talking about and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this website. Like I said, I'll leave all these in the description box below, but and I'm not going to read this article, I'll read the title. But Grand Imam UAE crowned its efforts in promoting peace by sponsoring Human Fraternity document. So there's just way too many complex names in this for it, that I'm going to butcher if I try to read all this, and so I'm going to let you guys read it. But it talks about the meeting that just happened in Kazakhstan. Like I said, I'll leave that to you guys to read. And then if you go over here to it's called Now the End Begins, this website. This is about a month and a half old, August 9th, 2022. They go through and they actually have images from far back of the Abrahamic family house being built here. And then this is the museum. It's like a museum of, I don't even remember what it's called. But anyways, like I said, it has nothing to do with the Abrahamic family house. The Abrahamic family house is here, and it's a completely separate project. So... and they don't really go through like when it's going to open or anything. A lot of people say in the fall of this year. It's kind of interesting that it all culminates to the end of September, or early fall, early to late fall. But yeah, so that's it for articles that I'm going to go through. I wanted to make this a little bit shorter video, but I'm just going to read one or two small portions of scripture to show you where this is biblically and why it's important to the end times prophecy. So I'm going to go here to Revelation 17:1. I'm only going to read 1 through 7. You can read a little bit further, and it talks about like the nations of the world that'll be involved in everything. It gets confusing unless you know what it's all talking about. So I'll let you guys kind of study in that. If you want me to go through it, leave it in the comment box, and I will go through it and go through some of these prophecies in depth and what they all mean and what they could be, because there is a confederation of nations that is going to be a 10-league confederation of nations that will rule the world in the tribulation period for the first part, and then they will hand their kingdom over to the beast. And you see that right here where it says these kings have one purpose, one mind, and one common goal, and they give their power and authority to the beast. So anyway, if you want me to go through that, I'll probably go through a video here in a little bit of the 10-league confederation and where it's shaping up in the world and how it's shaping up to be, and why they're deleting borders across the globe and stuff like that. But I'm just going to go through this real quick because it has to do with the one world religious harlot in the end times. So it says in Revelation 17:1, then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and spoke with me, saying, come here, I will show you the judgment and doom of the great prostitute who is seated on many waters. Many waters means the people or the nations of the world. She with whom the kings of the earth have committed acts of immorality, and the inhabitants of the earth have become intoxicated with the wine of her immorality. And the angel, I have a thing apparently about immortality right now. And the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was entirely covered with blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and adorned with gold, precious stones and pearls. Kind of interesting that's what the Pope is adorned in. And she was holding in her hand a cup full of abominations and the filth of her sexual immorality. And on her forehead a name was written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes, which is the false religions and heresies, and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, which are God's people, and with the blood of the witnesses of Jesus who are martyred. When I saw her, I wondered in amazement. But the angel said to me, "Why do you wonder? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns." Now, I believe that the leader of the one world religion is going to be the Pope in the end. That's my personal belief. I also believe that the Pope, and it's very possible that this Pope, I don't know if it's going to be this Pope. He's a bit old, but it's looking like things are shaping up right now. But I believe at one point or another, the Pope will be the false prophet. And if you know Revelation 13, the false prophet is the beast that enforces the mark of the beast. So he is the one that forces all of the world to take a mark and to worship the image of the first beast. So kind of interesting that the whole one world religion, the ecumenical movement, is all coming to pass right now. And the leader of it is the Pope, Pope Francis. And so he is definitely a leading candidate for the false prophet right now. That's assuming we head into the tribulation here in the next probably year. If we were to head into the tribulation in the next year, then that would probably make Pope Francis the false prophet, unless he ends up retiring, which I've heard rumors of recently, but who knows. Let's see, what else should we go through? I think that's about it. I just wanted to encourage you guys. Remember, Luke 21 says, Jesus himself said, when you see these things begin. Sorry, I had a dog barking in the background. When you see these things begin to happen, lift up, or look up and lift up your head, for your redemption draws near. Also, if you want to be saved and you don't know how, it's as simple as ABC. Accept that you are a sinner, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and there is no one righteous, not even one. It talks about that in Romans 3:10 and Romans 3:23. And then B is for believing your heart that Jesus came and was crucified on the cross to die for your sins and mine. And that he went to the grave and God raised him from the grave on the 3rd day. And if you believe that with your heart and then confess with your mouth, the C is for confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, you will be saved and sealed into the day of redemption, Ephesians 2 says. So I hope this was encouraging and informative for you guys. I'll see you the next time.